Right now, an AI can pick up your customer's call, understand what they need, and talk back like a person in any language and at any hour. The enterprises that are doing this well are seeing real returns, from faster service to happier customers and coverage they could never even dream of. And the ones doing it badly are burning budget on pilots that go nowhere. The difference isn't the technology, it's how you deploy it. I'm Deb Adioba, and I've spent 8 years commercializing speech services, text-to-speech, custom neural voices, and even real-time voice agents. I've had a front row seat to what separates the deployments that scale from the ones that stay stuck in demo mode. So today, no code, no jargon. This is the decision maker's guide to enterprise voice agents, what they are and where they create value, how the best teams deploy them, and at the end, we'll talk about how fast you can actually get started. So let's get into it. Let's strip the jargon. A voice agent is 3 jobs stitched together. First, the system has to hear, speech recognition, turning your customer's words into text. Second, it has to think. A reasoning model decides what those words mean and what to do about it. And third, it has to speak. Synthetic voice that sounds like a person, warm and natural, not a phone tree from 2005. For years, enterprises had to bolt these 3 pieces together themselves, and that added latency. In voice, response time is everything. A natural conversation has almost no gaps, and customers can feel the difference immediately. Here's the good news. The technology has taken a genuine leap. Modern voice platforms now collapse hearing, thinking, and speaking into a single real-time pipeline, and the newest models handle speech-to-speech natively. They listen and respond the way a person does. So if your team evaluated this space 18 months ago, it's worth a fresh look. The naturalness and responsiveness bars have both moved dramatically. So why does the unified pipeline matter to you as a business leader? There's 3 reasons. First, conversations feel live, so your customers stay engaged. Costs become predictable, so you're pricing one pipeline, not 3 separate services. And your team maintains one system instead of juggling 3. That's the what. Now, the better question, where do these actually earn their keep? The flagship is the contact center. After-hours coverage, password resets, order status, appointment scheduling. These are the routine calls your human agents would happily hand off, and they're exactly the calls the voice agent handles beautifully. And that frees your best people for the conversations that genuinely need a human touch. Here's the pattern I saw in the deployments that scaled, and it started with one contained measurable slice. So let me give you an example. A large consumer business was missing thousands of after-hour calls, and each one of those is a customer opportunity, right? So they scoped a voice agent to exactly that window, nights and weekends only. So it resolved the routine half of those calls outright and booked callbacks for the rest. 90 days later, they had real containment numbers, real customer satisfaction data, and this matters, a team that trusted the system. Then they were able to expand into daytime overflow with confidence and evidence. So, pilot-proof scale. It's simple and it works. Beyond the contact center, 2 opportunities are underrated. So, multilingual coverage. With dozens of languages and natural voices available, a mid-sized company can serve customers in languages it could never staff. So, if you operate in 15 countries with agents in 2, that math transforms your reach. And accessibility. Patient, natural voice interfaces will open your business to customers who might struggle with apps and websites. And it's a brand and inclusion story your board will be proud to tell. One more. Look inside your own company. Employee-facing agents, IT help desk, HR questions, hands-free support for field workers. These are quiet wins, lower stakes, narrower vocabulary, and a perfect place to build your organization's operational muscle first. Having watched this from the inside, 3 habits separate the teams that scale from the teams that stall. Good news, all 3 decisions are not budgets. Habit 1, they treat it as a customer experience project with IT as a partner. A voice agent isn't software you just install. It's a new team member you're putting on the phone with your customers. And the winning deployments, give it what you'd give a new hire. So you'd give it training, you give it scripts, you give it an escalation path, and a manager who reviews its conversations. So when leadership owns the outcome, the experience shows it. Habit 2, they make voice governance a launch requirement. So this is my home turf. I spent years working on responsible AI for specifically voice. So hear me on this. Your brand's voice is now a governed asset, exactly like your logo and your trademark. The strong teams decided up front, whose voice is this, and is consent documented. Does the agent disclose it's an AI? When a caller asks for a human, does it hand off gracefully every time? Settle that before you launch, and legal review becomes a formality, and your customers' trust stays intact. In an era when audio deepfakes make headlines, being the brand that does synthetic voice responsibly is a competitive advantage. Habit 3, they build for the last 20%. The demo is the easy 80, right? The winning team plans for the rest from day one. Telephony integration with the existing carrier and contact center software. Escalation design so the human agent sees full context when a call transfers, and also measurement, a real KPI, because it sounds great isn't a KPI. Plan for the 20% upfront and your pilot graduates on schedule. If you take one thing from this video, take these 5 questions into your next planning meeting. 1, what's our response time budget? Get a number. Under a second to first word is the bar for natural conversation. 2, how does the handoff work? When an agent passes a call to a human, what context travels with it? A seamless handoff is where customer trust is won. 3, who owns voice governance? Name a person, consent documentation, disclosure policy, escalation policy, owned and written down. 4, what does each interaction cost? Put the per interaction number next to your current cost per call. That comparison is your business case. 5, what's the pilot's success metric? Containment rate, CSAT, cost per resolved call. Pick it before you launch. A pilot with a number is a pilot that can graduate. Once you have a crisp answer to all 5, you're ready, and getting started is easier than you might think. Okay, here's where I'll get specific, because one stack has made this remarkably simple. Microsoft Foundry Agents with the VoiceLive API. VoiceLive is that unified pipeline we talked about, hearing, thinking, and speaking in one real-time connection, and it's now generally available. So you pick the voice, you pick the reasoning model, and Foundry Agents handles the orchestration. So your team can then stand up a working voice agent pilot in days, not quarters, and it comes with the governance guardrails we talked about. So gated access to custom voices, consent requirements, disclosure baked into the design guidance. So that scoped after hours pilot we talked about, this is exactly the kind of project that the Foundry Quick Start was built for. Small slice, real metrics, fast start. Bottom line, voice agents are production ready and the playbook is proven. So scope small, govern well, and measure honestly. Then you can scale with confidence. And tell me in the comments, where would a voice agent create the most value in your business? I read every comment, and your answer might help shape the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.